we have some olive oil, some basil, and our dry pasta. This is a brand, it's called, I can't even pronounce this, but it's PJ Pasta Joy with brown rice pasta. The ingredients only say, I think it says water and brown rice flour. Where's that? Brown rice and water. So this is a very clean ingredient, and I believe it said it was organic too. It's kosher, non-GMO. So for this recipe, you can use a pan, whatever you have. I have this like long pan, which is going to work perfectly. I'm just going to have to cut my pasta. So if you are using a square pan, this might be fine, but just remember that you might need more pasta if it's larger, or your layers might be shallow versus taller. So if you're looking for a really thick pasta or a really thick lasagna, maybe pick up 4 of these just in case, because they're not going to go bad and they'll be on the shelf when you want them. All right, now what I'm going to do first is cut them to size, because you can see they just don't fit in, right? So let's do that, and the way I do that is I kind of put it over a measure first. So about like 3 ridges in. I will just put it over my cutting board and snap it so it breaks really nice and clean. And I'm going to need about, I think I used 7 of these. This is what I had left over from the first one I made. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I used 8 pieces, so that's for this container. And I also had to cut them horizontally too, like this way. But it's the same kind of thing. If this is your first time here, welcome, and I hope that you are hanging out for the entire thing. If you're not able to stay, don't worry, you can watch this later. And if you're on Instagram right now, I would love to see you guys come over to YouTube and show us some love there. We're always looking to build our social outlets, social platforms as much as possible. And that's just another one. And you just get a different vibe, a whole different like view. Now all of these pieces we have cut off, don't throw them away. You can use them in other applications or fill them into the gaps of your lasagna. I'm just going to set them aside, just in case we need them. All right, now let's take our gloves, because we don't have a sink over here, because this is the studio kitchen where there's no running water. It's just what you see is what you get. All right, so then we're going to add a little bit of olive oil, and this is going to help lubricate anything that's cooking in this casserole dish. This is going to be, okay, let's just say this. This is going to be extremely easy for you to cook. The only difference is, the only issue I see with this recipe is let it chill. Like after it's done cooking, just let it chill. Because when you go to slice it, when it's hot, it's going to be really hard to get a clean slice. And we'll talk about that more later. But it just makes for a prettier, better experience. So I would suggest making this today for tomorrow. But if you don't have time to wait for it, it's cool. All right, so now we're going to grab our tomato sauce, our marinara, and we're going to add it to the pasta. Did I add it in the bottom first, though? I think I added it to the bottom first. We'll add a little bit to the bottom. Just a little bit. The instructions probably say not this, but we're going off the cuff here. And then we add that there. We're going to add a little bit of pasta sauce on top, just enough to kind of coat. We don't want it to be like swimming, but we want all of that juice to be absorbed into the pasta itself, so when it solidifies, or so when it's like cooking, it's going to cook through. I've never made pasta like this before, but apparently it's a pretty popular thing. And it's super simple. All right, so now we're gonna grab our almond ricotta. If you're looking to make this like the same day, it might be a little difficult. So I would mise it out 2 days in advance if you have that time. If not, I am sure that they make a lot of cool non-dairy cheeses, because I see them all the time. I just haven't used them often. All right, so now let's add another layer of pasta. You can see we're like taking those pieces that didn't really fit too well and kind of just piecing them together like a puzzle now. Now we're going to add our ricotta. And I'm not going to lie, I don't make lasagna that often. My grandmother made it all the time though. So she was the cook for our family. She made it religiously. All holidays, she made lasagna. She made every single type of food. She was Italian. So whatever was on anyone's mind, she just cooked it. The only thing is she never added salt. So my grandfather always got hot and bothered. He's like, your grandma cooks so well, but she always forgets that salt because of my blood pressure. And that was his favorite thing. At this point, we're gonna do a little bit of something different here. We're gonna add a little salt to the ricotta because I'm just gonna add a little bit of seasoning as we're going. And I'm gonna chop some basil in between to make sure that the flavors are really getting in as fresh and as well as possible. Can't really see it because that, huh? How does that look? So we're gonna add a little bit of basil. You can add parsley too if you want. And we're gonna add some more pasta. I almost forgot to make sure you preheat your oven to 375 so that when you put this in, it's ready to go. Now, I don't know if this is on anyone's mind, but if you are concerned about it working for you and you have like IBD issues, a lot of people won't eat tomatoes. For many reasons, but I did my best to get the best ingredients possible, and ones that didn't contain any like insoluble fibers, so something that wouldn't like tear up my gut, and that would be this. And I cooked it so I know it's good, and I think that's a big thing for anyone out there who is looking for food that's going to be good for your gut. The best method is to cook it yourself. I don't trust restaurants all the time to cook things for me, especially when I'm concentrating on healing. And if that's you, I would highly suggest really diving deep into cooking more. Don't overcomplicate it. There's a lot of recipes that are easy, and I'm trying to give them to you here. So if that's what you're looking for, this is where you're going to find them. So we're going to keep adding pasta. We have our little puzzle pieces here, right? This one looks good. We're going to add some ricotta. Oh no. Again, we want to get it nice smooth, even, and just to cover the pasta. Oh, almost forgot our flavors. So we do some salt, some basil, all right. This is going to be our last layer, okay? So now I'm going to start trying to push down a little bit. And because our pan is a little bit more beveled, I don't know if you can see, it kind of gets bigger as it goes up. I'm able to put 2 pieces in towards the top. So we added they overlap slightly, but that's going to be fine. So we add our marinara sauce again. We actually might be able to put one more layer. Scratch that. We're going to make it nice and big. It's going to say fat. Okay. All right, this is the last layer. Push down slightly, just to make sure everything's nice. And I use the word taut a lot, but I want to use it here, but it's not the right word. Nice and dense. Everything's nice and compact. That's the word. And we're gonna go pasta sauce. So let's do a little bit of marinara sauce. Now, at this point, I messed up last time because I didn't put enough sauce on top. And any dry pasta that was seeping through the cracks it wasn't raw, but it definitely was really hard. So I'm gonna make sure that I cover it a lot more than I've done on all of the other layers. And I'm also gonna add some cheese on top. Right. Okay, but this time I'm just gonna make these dollops. So you can really see the separation of cheese, sauce, and it lets you understand what's inside. I think that's really important for cooking, is if you're going to put anything on top or throughout, it should be what's inside already, or something that's going to complement it. Now, I'm going to take this parchment paper I have here, put it on top, and I'm going to add this lid over here, right? This is kind of what I had hanging around, but if you don't have a pot with a lid that fits well, just take a piece of aluminum foil and put it on top. The one thing I want to make sure that you do, though, is use parchment paper. The tomato sauce, the acid in the tomato sauce is going to react with the aluminum foil if it's on direct contact. So you're going to definitely need some separation of parchment or some other cooking paper to prevent it from reacting and getting into your food. All right, so now we're gonna cook this for 45 minutes. I did cook some in advance, and I'm gonna show you how I'd plate that up, but I'm also gonna let this live stream go for 45 minutes so I can go back to this and we can check out what it's like in real time. Because when I made it last time, like I said, the ricotta cheese I made didn't work out because of the milk I used. And that was a big bummer because I needed to make something to show you today. So instead of using the almond ricotta, I used a coconut kefir And the only thing that was bad about that is it just kind of melted throughout. It was very acidic and it was flavorful, but it wasn't what we were looking for. So when we cooked it, it came out like this. And this is what I was suggesting. When you're cooking this at home, let it chill in the fridge. 100% let it chill in the fridge if you're looking to get really nice, beautiful squares, rectangles, so they can come out just like this. And when you heat it up, you're going to put it onto more parchment paper, just like so. So you're going to put it there. I add a little tiny bit of oil. You do not need to. And I put it on its side. So the pasta has like the most wide, largest surface area you have, put it on that side. So I wouldn't put it like this because it's going to like come out and fall apart potentially. I like it like this because I also want the edges to be really crispy. And then I would hit it with a little bit of oil, just a little bit, and then salt. This needed a lot of salt, so you may not need that at home. I would put it in the oven and then it will come out just like this. So can we see it? No? Okay. Can we see it? So it came out just like this. Let's take it off this pan. Really nice crispy edges. Come on. Really nice crispy edges. It's super, like the tomatoes started concentrating and cooking down and the pasta on the ends got crispy. And you can see the layer of cheese that we have here isn't really there because it melted into the pasta itself. But that's okay. It's edible, it's good. This one's gonna be way better. Huh? Did you say something? Jen? I guess Jen was talking to me. But the way I would plate this on the plate, it would be, let's see if we have a plate around here. When you're heating it up in your oven like this, you're going to cook it. You can cover it, you don't have to. I cooked it in like 10 minutes, uncovered, and it came out nice and crispy. So that's how I would suggest doing it. If you're looking to cook a lot at one time, maybe, just maybe, put them all in the pan, like portioned out, separate them so they're easy to grab, and then cover them with foil, put them in the oven at 375 until they're warm. It could be like 15 minutes at that point because you have more in a pan. And then when you plate them, you can take some warm sauce. Say sauce like a Philadelphian now. You can put it on the plate. Some sauce. Like so. And if you can eat Parmesan cheese, load it on top. If you want some more ricotta cheese, you can put it on top of here as well. This is what we got going on. Try to take this off with one hand. Oh no. So what's going to happen here is we're going to uncover it. You can see the ricotta is nice and set up. I smeared it on the edges. But we're going to uncover it, turn on the broiler, and cook it for another 5 minutes. We didn't want to let it go too much more because this isn't going to melt like you would expect. It's super, super flavorful though. You have the tomato sauce that's cooked down once we uncovered it. This cheese is just super, super creamy. It's so good. But what's going to happen is this is going to cool down. We want this to cool down. You can serve it right now if you wanted to. The pasta's cooked all the way through. And gluten-free pasta doesn't take too long to cook either. But we want it to cool down all the way. And then once it does that, we're going to slice it into portions we like. So I would probably cut this if I was serving it for a family, like the little slices we did. So I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, almost like 6 lasagna portions. And that's it. Thank you so much. Have a great day and keep on cooking.